This is the Sony XAV-AX8100, and right out of the box you will notice it's 8.9-inch anti-glare resistive touchscreen, and that means it will feel a little softer when you touch it. It has a resolution of 800 by 480 pixels. But right underneath you will find the most valuable input of all, which is the HDMI. But we will take a look later at how that can be used. Let's jump straight into its software. Sony receivers are also known for fast boot times, and here is the proof. Less than 3 seconds, which by far one of the fastest units on the market. Apple CarPlay and Android Auto are now wireless. It works only through USB cable. But after plugging in my iPhone, the unit quickly recognizes it and launches into the Apple CarPlay. The responsiveness of its resistive touchscreen is not great, tends to lag a little when the layout is populated with apps. However, scrolling through a website feels a lot better. Having a responsive screen when driving is one of the most important things. Now, you may not use a browser like me, but I thought it's cool to show you how that feels on a huge screen like this. By the way, if you are wondering how I get to browse on the CarPlay, I have a video about that, so check the video description if you are interested. And as I said, the screen feels fine in terms of responsiveness. I will show you if you go in the settings here and we have less elements, graphic elements, screen feels fine, feels pretty responsive. So it's only a matter of how many graphic elements you have on the screen, but that's probably not that important. Now let's jump straight into the Android Auto and see how that will perform. Hopefully we will have a better experience, and there is a slightly better experience here. The menu flows smoother and feels better than CarPlay. Scrolling through the settings app, and it feels great, no complaints. Now there is another feature that lets you watch YouTube. It's called WebLink, and it requires a WebLink app. Can be found in the App Store or Play Store, and the phone needs to be plugged in order to use it. And now I'm gonna do a quick demo of how the YouTube app works with WebLink. So this YouTube app, it's a light version of the real one. It will only allow you to browse, watch a video, and search for videos. Things like logging in your account or setting a resolution, captions, those things won't be available. Now, as I said, YouTube is just one of the features that WebLink has. There is also the Cast app that can be found back in the main menu of the WebLink, and you can basically mirror your phone screen straight to the head unit. And the process is not that complicated. If you have an iPhone, all you have to do is just pull up the control center, open the recording, and from the menu select WebLink, start recording. And then all you have to do is just follow the instructions that you are prompted on the screen. So in my case, all I had to do is return on the home screen on the iPhone, and that usually fixes the issue. And as you see, there is a screen mirrored to the device. Now, if you were wondering if you can watch Netflix while using a mirror link, well, that's not gonna work. Netflix has some copyright limitation with their app, so if you try to watch a video, it's not gonna mirror to the unit. I'm gonna show here in a second that that's not gonna be possible. Unfortunately, that is very disappointing, but it's not the end of the world. I will show you in a second why. So we are trying here. As you can see, I'm having the movie playing on the phone, but it's not mirroring on the device. Now here is where the HDMI is gonna shine. I know there are a bunch of adapters out there, but for the iPhone I got the original HDMI to Lightning. I will link it in the description. So you basically connect the HDMI to this adapter and then go straight to the phone, and the whole process is just gonna be like mirroring your phone to the TV. That's how it's gonna feel like, but instead of a TV, you're gonna have it in your car, so there gonna be no limitation or whatsoever. And as you can see, there is Netflix playing right there. So this is the best device if you want to watch Netflix in the car. This Sony really changed the game with this HDMI port. Now there are other options out there, but the cool thing is that you don't have to buy any extra things like expensive multimedia boxes or anything in order to be able to watch Netflix or any other streaming app. Now it's time to do a walkthrough to the apps of the unit, and we start by radio. Radio, it's a pretty simple interface, has a couple of presets that you can save your favorite radio stations. And if we go to the settings, the settings app will be split in 4 categories, and we're gonna start with general. And in this category they are just basic settings, but also there is one setting that worth mentioning, is the stereo control preset. Well, this basically you can select which functionality to program, for example play and pause, and then align that with the button that you want to use on the steering wheel to control that specific functionality. And all the way to the bottom you have the firmware version, and that would be a good idea to check on their websites. Sony sends from time to time updates, so that will in fixing any software issues. Going to the sound now, we have the extra bass option with 2 levels that can be set. The 10 band equalizer will give you a great range of control over the sound output, whether you are amplifying or not. And of course there are various presets that you can choose from, but also you can set your custom one. Now let's move on through the settings, and we start by balance and fader. Here as usual you can select which way you want the sound to sound from, and also the crossover control on this head unit is pretty straightforward and simple. It gives you a decent level of control of the output to your speakers. DSO, or a dynamic stage organizer, it's a unique feature for Sony. Basically gives you the impression of having an additional speaker on the dashboard. Volume settings will let you adjust the navigation guidance while using CarPlay or a phone call. It can be a sound difference which you can adjust. Phone call sound, you can choose which speakers to play your call, the front or the rear, and guidance during the call or on and off. Moving on to the visual, we have wallpaper, and we have 5 wallpapers to choose from, but also you can upload your own from any USB device as long as you have the wallpapers files on it. Dimmer and illumination will let you turn off the dimmer, or actually adjusting the brightness as well, which goes all the way to -5. That's good for driving on darker roads. You can decrease the brightness so that way it won't bother you. Illumination level and monitor, this will adjust the key illumination brightness. As you can see, has 5 options. You can turn them off as well. And for the Bluetooth is just some basic options, nothing fancy here. In conclusion, the AX8100 is just an upgraded version of the AX8000. Sony really stepped up the game by adding a HDMI. I think the AX8100 is one of the best bang for your buck on the market right now, with the things like oversized screen, WebLink, and all that kind of features that really improve the experience. I really recommend this unit. And this is it for this video. If you enjoyed this content, please click like and subscribe for more similar content.